Recovery means to me is freedom and peace.
There is hope.
Recovery is awesome.
Recovery works.
Recovery is possible. There is hope.
Recovery is possible. There is hope.
Recovery to me means freedom. Recovery is possible.
Recovery works.
Recovery is always possible.
It's fantastic.
Progress, not perfection.
Recovery is possible.
Recovery works.
Recovery is a journey, not a destination.
Welcome to Montana's Peer Network Recovery Talks podcast. I'm Jim Hajny, Executive Director, and today I have a very, very special guest that I have wanted to have come on for a long time. And so I am really excited about this. I'm excited about the discussion, but I'm really excited for you, the listener, to get to know Lucie Bruno, Director of Strength Found Program. She's a peer mentor for the Ethical Peer Support Training out of Ottawa, Canada. That's right, you heard me right, Ottawa, Canada. And Lucie, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here, Jim. Wonderful.
Well,
what a great intro.
You and I have had so many wonderful conversations over the last couple of years. And you know, I've been asking you to please come on because, one, I really like you as a person, and I think the work you are doing is amazing. And I just want you to come on and talk about the work because I think the topic is something that we don't talk about. And this is your wheelhouse.
Yeah. Okay. So the program that I want to talk about first, which has always been my passion, of course, peer support. But I want to talk about the program that I've had the privilege to launch in 2020. So we got funding in 2019 for this great program. And I got to come on, and it's a peer-led program, which is like really important to know. And it's about supporting adult survivors of childhood sexual abuse. So myself as a survivor of CSA, I realized there isn't much out there. And my specialty is peer support. So I was trained as a family peer supporter and a peer supporter. So I went, wow, this is such a great thing. The only thing that happened was it launched at the same time as COVID.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So when it launched, it was like, oh man, now what do I do? You know, like, how am I going to get the people? How am I going to get the word out? Because COVID took so much space that we couldn't, like it was hard to even get announcing that we were launched and it was happening. But we were lucky. It happened. Mm-hmm. And the one good thing about what happened during COVID is that everybody got to learn how to use Zoom.
Yes.
Well, we learned quickly through trial and error, and I've done some myself, which I won't, talk about now. But anyways, funny ones. But what this Zoom thing, what it allowed us to do is to support survivors right across Canada. Wow. So throughout the cohorts, what was happening is like we literally would have people from the Maritimes, from Nunavut, from Winnipeg, Toronto, Montreal. It was great. It was like a really, really fantastic. It was fantastic to be able to reach. That was great. Because at first when we launched it, it was like, oh my God, we're just going to be this area, Ontario. But because of the Zoom, that was the only good thing about COVID. It has allowed us to reach right across Canada.
Right. The entire country. Because we discovered the same thing. So we were always doing online stuff pre-COVID, but the same thing was that people were locked down and they needed something to do. So they were tuning in. But the use of technology broadens what we could do rather than just being local.
Yeah. Wow. So with this amazing program, the Strength Found program, it's all peer-led. So what we have is we have one-on-one support, which is unlimited. So this is a big piece because many organizations are it's time restraint and capacity and all that,
Yep.
but ours is unlimited. So it's up to the peer, the client, who
Mhm.
chooses when they end, their peer support. But we also have a 14-week program, which really is a powerful tool to help people understand everything. And it's a program that has been run through another agency that we've adjusted and made changes that what we found were more appropriate language and everything else.
Mhm.
But that program had been running for 25 years out of Toronto.
Wow.
And we reached out for them. They trained us. So my team were trained, to understand how the program is run and all that. And so in these 14 weeks, and these are run in cohorts, so male cohorts or female cohorts,
Mhm.
they get to understand finally how much impact the trauma like the CSA had
Mhm.
on their lives.
Right.
Like they know, but they don't realize,
Right.
many of their
Right.
behaviors and substance use, mental health issues,
Mhm.
everything. It's
Mhm.
all based to that trauma in their youth. So this allows them to have that chance to really go through it. We don't go through the dark place. Like we don't, like people are often, oh
Right.
my God, like how deep do you go? We do no. The dark
Right.
closet door, we don't open that. That's not
Right.
ours. We're
Right.
not
Right.
therapists.
Right. Right.
So we don't want to go there, but we're
Right.
just helping them understand and build a community for them.
Yeah.
And once the peers, everyone that's come into a cohort after a few weeks feel so safe and they've now feel less alone because that's what you want because many survivors there's a lot of isolation because you just don't quite fit in anywhere, people
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
understand, and it's very similar with peer support with mental health or substance use. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? You don't,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a peer supporter yourself,
Yeah.
when you meet this person, this new client, and you just start having that conversation. It's so powerful to see,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to go deep. They kind of, you get
Right.
it.
Right.
You get it.
Exactly. The power of peer support.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah.
powerful. It's
Yeah.
powerful. So
Yeah.
this program has helped so many people. I mean, it's not the answer for everyone, but it has helped many people
Mhm.
come out of isolation. Um, Sometimes it's accessing multiple resources that they didn't even know how. So we do a lot of navigation for them. We don't do the
Mhm.
work for them, but we'll do the navigation and give them
Right.
the resources and everything else. So it's helping people, you know, get the right resources, maybe find employment, maybe filling
Mhm.
out forms for,
Mhm.
different services that they didn't even know because not everybody has capacity for reading or writing and things like that. So
Right.
there's so many
Right.
barriers that people have that there's so much shame in admitting these barriers. They just stand
Yeah.
back. Yeah. They just say, no, I
Yeah.
can't. Like, I can't tell people I can't read or I don't know how to do this. I don't have a computer. I don't have a phone. I don't have so
Right.
many things. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm very, very proud of this. Like, when we just celebrated 5 years of our Strength Found program.
Wow.
So
Congratulations. Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
I'm really, really proud of it. I'm so proud of it. And we keep growing and offering different workshops, and it's just building
Yeah.
and building and building. And it's a beautiful thing to see it. It's hard work. It's hard work for the peer supporters, very
Mhm.
hard work because
Yeah.
the stories are huge.
Yeah.
But it's so validating and rewarding and empowering for the
Mhm.
peers,
Mhm.
as they're doing their healing journey or beginning their healing journey.
And what kind of support do the peer supporters get who are doing this type of work?
This is important because this is where this is where being ethical is so important. Um,
Yeah.
so they first of all we have a group chat. So my entire team. So we're a team of 5 peer supporters at Strength in the Strength On program. And what we do is we have a private on Signal because to be able to be confidential, we
Mhm.
have this group chat. And so when somebody has just finished either doing an intake or supporting somebody, we
Mhm.
always encourage to debrief. So the debriefing is the piece that helps them so that they're not carrying this on their own. Sometimes it's not very heavy, other times it can be very heavy, and
Right.
we talk through it. So there's always somebody on the chat that will respond, "Hey, I'm available." Or sometimes there'll be multiple people say boop, 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 and that person gets the choice. The peer supporter gets the choice to who am I going to debrief with. So, and we debrief, and that is so supportive for all of them. That's the one piece that is really, really important. The other really valuable thing that we have is clinical supervision. So there is a psychotherapist that comes in once a month for, I think it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And this is where we, with him, can share our challenges as peer supporters. So it's not talking about clients or stories of our clients, because that's privilege, that's confidential information. We might bring up an indirect thing that has happened that we need, how would be a better way to address this person's need, or are we causing harm? Because we always want to make sure that
Right.
we're not causing harm,
Yes.
with certain peers. So in this clinical supervision, you feel afterwards, you feel so energized because the psychotherapist that does support us is also a survivor of CSA
Oh.
and a person who has taken the program. So
Oh.
this is a very, so there is this extreme understanding
Yes.
and all that. There's a great, it's really, really powerful. I think that to have
Yeah.
somebody that, once again, it's like having a peer right into your group.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, when someone is sexually abused when they're young, and you
Hmm.
mentioned this a little bit, but I want to like flush this out a little more, right? Is
Okay.
because there's so much shame around this. How that plays out. How do you see that? And you've worked with a lot of people. How do you see that play out over the lifetime? By the time they get to you, it's decades later in some cases, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the journey, for many, let me start again. So as a family peer supporter, I worked in supporting parents of children with mental health challenges or
Yeah.
substance use challenges.
Yeah.
And I was really grateful to do that for over 5 years. When I came in to do the Strength Found program, and I started to meet my peers, the clients, I was shocked at the level of the damage caused by the trauma.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like those 5 years were preparing me for this. Like if I wouldn't have had this training prior, it would have been really challenging for me. So the it is unbelievable the complex needs that these people and the challenges that they've had their whole life. We
Yeah.
actually have a sheet in our manual that lists all the different things that I think there's 25 or 27 of them that may
Mhm.
show up in the lifetime of a survivor of CSA. And
Mhm.
we ask everybody, we even in our family and friends support group for survivor, like for the family and friends of the survivors of CSA, we actually share that. And I read this, and
Wow.
most of those things will be checked off by your loved one.
Right.
It is
Right.
unbelievable. So there's shame. There's shame is like always sitting there,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
abandonment, because many times it's from somebody that was trusted. So there's
Yeah.
abandonment. So there's a lot of statistics.
Yeah.
Um, Lack of trust. So it's the building of the trust again. So
Right.
there's a lot of mental health, failed relationships, depending when they come. It's
Mhm.
when you see, so in a cohort, when I have older, I'm just going to speak for women. So in a cohort where I have older women, much
Mhm.
I've had up to in their 70s doing this, and they're still grateful
Wow.
to do it. Like they're still like
Yeah.
it helps
Yeah.
them, there's no age limit in what
Right.
we do.
Right.
It's
Right.
adult from 18 to whenever.
Right.
Anyways, when they see a younger person, so there'd be somebody 18 or 19 or early 20s, the first thing they always say is, I am so glad to see you here so that you
Yeah.
don't live what I have lived, so that you're addressing this now in
Yes.
order to start your healing journey.
Yeah.
Because the trauma will always be there. It's just how you live with it and through it,
Right.
you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I can relate to that because my recovery started when I was in my early 20s,
Oh, nice.
and my whole adulthood pretty much has
Mhm.
been in recovery. And when I teach Peer Support 101 for behavioral health peer support, I just did a class where we had one woman was 74. She's going to go
Nice.
become a certified behavioral health peer support
Nice. I
specialist.
love it.
Another one was 64. And then I had two who were in their mid 20s.
Nice.
And they say the same kind of thing, right? Because you're engaging in recovery, you're healing, you're ready to support other people. Yeah. Why do you think that this topic is so, like, I'm going to say taboo? We don't talk about it because the more I do this work as a peer supporter, the more prevalent it is. I hear people's stories. Part of the training that we do, you get up and you tell your recovery story. And I'd say 2/3 of the stories involve sexual abuse. Not everybody talks about it throughout the training.
No.
Like you, we don't go into depth, but
Yeah.
it comes out. It comes out, and the impact. Why can't our society talk about this?
I'm going to say something. Society allows it.
Okay.
Society allows it.
Okay.
There's something out there. And so one of the things we're also doing at Voice Found is we're actually creating childhood sexual abuse prevention training for online, accessible to everyone. It hasn't launched yet. We're right in the middle of editing right now.
Hmm.
And it's the silence. Is if
Yeah.
people don't talk, there's shame. They feel that families that have it, parents will hide it. Not it. They're not necessarily the abusers, but there's the shame attached to it.
Right.
Like I didn't help my child. I didn't see it. So
Mhm.
instead of coming forth and saying, "Oh no,"
Right.
like this is what just happened, and
Right.
vocalizing, it's the silence that keeps everything. We keep that door shut. If we keep
Hmm.
it shut and we don't look at it, it's not happening. It's just
Yeah.
like human trafficking, sexual
Yeah.
exploitation.
Right.
We shut that door because we don't want the high level people that are possibly maybe involved in it
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
disclosed, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so much. I never have shame. I've never like I do have shame. I shouldn't say that, but I don't carry that level of shame. And I'm a big believer. We have an expression in French. I don't have my tongue in my pocket, and it's like,
Oh.
it's a very good expression. So it means like I speak of it. I speak of
Uh-huh.
it, even though people are like, oh, I'm not comfortable, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But recovery is not comfortable.
No.
Recovery is not comfortable. It doesn't matter if you're recovering from substance use or a mental health diagnosis, any other kind of trauma. This is part of why I want you to come on, because I want to raise this awareness. I want people to talk about it because that's the only way we can address it, is we have to talk about it. Because ever since I met you for, the last 2 years, I'm now educating myself and reading, and it's like I'm more tuned in to how pervasive this really is. And I
Oh,
really
yeah.
think that it has to start with us talking about it, coming out of the shadows, addressing it, because I think what you're saying is absolutely true. It just leads to substance use, mental health issues, relationship problems. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse throughout the
Yeah.
lifetime. It just like compounds.
Yeah. And it can be intergenerational also.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
and sometimes when you say that, people will think right away, possibly indigenous, possibly lower income people in
yes.
certain parts. Mm-mm, it's
Right.
everywhere. It's
It's everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
everywhere. I see it everywhere. It is right up from the judges family, like that it's been allowed all the way down, or
Mhm,
some politician or anything
mhm,
like that. I'm just saying
mhm.
that I'm not naming anybody or saying this is
Yeah,
what it is,
yeah,
but it is what it is that it comes from everywhere. And it's
everywhere.
when somebody in that system comes along, in that whole generation thing comes along, and sometimes they'll say it, I want it to stop. I want it to stop with
Right,
me, like,
right.
so that it doesn't carry on, even though
Exactly.
the trauma DNA is in me. It
Yeah,
and we do, and and the DNA will be passed on, but we are able to then recognize that, and so that we are able to help and prevent that for our next generation, our children. But
right, right. Moving forward.
yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So let's talk about, you mentioned the readiness and you did the family peer support work, which is
yeah.
something we're just getting going here now in Montana, certified family peer supporters.
Hmm.
The preparation, the readiness of an individual to do this type of work, because I have to imagine that um, it's like this is even more intense and emotional. Um, so I know you have the ethical peer support training, and that's where I want to get into that. But the for the individual who says, "Oh, I want to be this kind of peer supporter to work with
Mm.
CSA, childhood sexual abuse," what do they got to do to be ready? How do they prepare themselves?
The first thing is, of course, would always be, so let's say somebody that I do not know comes along and they apply, they say, I want to become a peer supporter.
Mhm,
First thing is they would do an intake. So I would meet with them. I would ask where they're at, what's going
mhm,
on, and everything
mhm,
else.
mhm.
And even before they take the ethical peer support training, I would have them do our Strength Found program, the 14-week. Even though they
Okay.
say, I'm done, I did my work, I'm good,
Right.
I need to see, if not myself, a team member, that is,
Yeah.
one of the supervisors within the cohort, and they can help and be able to evaluate their place of readiness, this person,
Mhm,
as they
mhm.
come in. Um, then definitely we would have them do the ethical peer support training. And then through this training that we'll discuss, uh, I then can see even more how they are and how did their understanding of what peer support is, because
Mhm.
it's peer supporter, whether it's for mental health, substance use, CSA, human trafficking, or domestic violence, any of it. You have to be in a place of healing. The healing journey doesn't end. Like, I would never tell somebody, I'm all good, man. I'm healed up.
Right,
I'm good.
right, right. I'm good.
Let's go.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
bring on anything. I can take it.
yeah.
Absolutely not. Even in
No.
all my years of experience, I am still at times triggered. It's how you
Yes.
react to the
Yeah,
trigger,
yeah.
how you react to something, and understanding that don't forget, this is not your story. Like, it can impact you because we're human
Yes.
and we're empathic as peer supporters. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
after that training, Then there would be, a practicum after they would have done their ethical peer support. Then they would do their practicum. And it's through this practicum that I would then see their readiness to
Okay.
do it. It's like understanding. So practicum, people
Right.
are terrified when they hear about that. They go, because many survivors do not have high academic
Right.
education. And we tell them, absolutely not. Don't worry about that. It is not about your reading or anything like that. It is about your reaction and how you will support the person. So
Right.
it's basically just an activity log of what happened, how did it go, boom, 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 and moving forward. So it's brainstorming together and to see where they're at
Yeah.
in peer support.
Yeah.
Once they've completed that, they get their certificate of completion and they can
Wow.
start. Yeah.
Wow. This is what drew me to you was I was looking around online and I was researching ethics in peer support, which is something that's pretty tough to find.
Mhm.
There isn't a lot of information out there. I don't know why the peer workforce has not really dug in and addressed this, the ethics around it. Is it ethical? And I came across the video with yourself and Cynthia
Mhm.
you were doing a webinar and you were
Mhm.
talking about the ethics of peer support that we're taking somebody who's living in recovery from, and it could be lots of different things, and
Mhm.
now they're going to go do this work. Is that ethical? Can we just take someone and just put them in this role without injuring them? And I loved the conversation. I loved the conversation. And that's what made me send you the first email and say, I'm very interested in what you're doing. And I eventually took the course, and some of my staff took the course. And I mean, it was amazing. It was 10 weeks. So, like, as you were explaining this, the practicum, the training, the interview process, it's really a lengthy process. This is not like next Wednesday, I'm going to work
No,
at
no,
Strength Found.
no, no, no.
Right.
Oh no, no, it would take months. It would take months because it takes 14 weeks for the program.
Mhm.
So for the Strength Found program,
Yeah.
and then there is the 10 weeks of EPS, Ethical Peer Support Training.
Mhm.
So it's a long process, and through all of that, there's conversations, there's meetings, and things
Yeah.
like that. So it's a long process, but it's so
Yeah.
important. And this is the reason why we launched the Ethical Peer Support Training, EPS, as we call it for quick and short. So is that Cynthia, who is the founder of VoiceFound, and I had many conversations, even before, like, EPS was even like it was a thought. It was like, can we move forward with this? Because I said,
Mhm.
this is the problem with peer support. We have a
Mhm.
wonderful organization, Peer Support Canada. They do not train. They tell you what you got to know, but they do not train. So
Mm.
what was powerful is that I'm certified with them, but
Mhm.
through that and all the knowledge and preparing for that was I got all the information in order to create the ethical peer support training. And I said,
Okay.
we need to have a really powerful training that is
Mhm.
barrier free if possible, but that is ethical because we can see the damage. We can see the
Yes.
damage. I saw
Yeah.
it. I saw
Yeah.
it from other organizations, even the one of the organizations I was working with prior to VoiceFound. I
Yeah.
could see how peer supporters were causing harm to both the peer and
Mhm.
to themselves. And
Yes.
this is what I wanted to avoid. Like this,
Yeah.
I want to avoid burnout. I want to avoid re-traumatization
Right.
in all around. So this is why ethical peer support came in, is the creation. And it took quite a while to create it. We got the
Yeah.
funding for it and then hiring the right people, finding the right format, how to present
Mhm.
it and everything else.
Yeah. Do you so this is one of the issues I think we have in Montana. We've been training peer supporters for 10 years now.
Mhm.
And we have an application. We have some pre-homework assignments that they do. But when I get into the class, the 40-hour class, and now the class is 6 days over 2 weeks, 3 days 1 week, 3 days the second week, it comes out. All of it comes out. The person's readiness, where they are in recovery, all of this, it comes out, right? Because you're building these strong bonds, we're doing these activities, we're having these discussions. It all comes out. And, in every single class, there are people who you can very easily identify they're not ready to do this work.
Mm,
And that concept that you were talking about, where you do harm to the peer, you do harm to yourself, and there's harm to the workforce, the employer,
mhm,
right, who's trying to find the right peer supporter to hire, and then also the longevity.
mhm,
And I love this idea of lengthening this process out and actually looking at what are the ethics behind that. And as an organization that trains, you
mhm.
have a responsibility. And uh, you can't just hand out
No,
certificates to people.
no,
Do you require people to be certified through Peer Support Canada? Do you
no, no,
require?
no, no, no,
They
no, no,
don't
we
have
don't.
to be.
No, 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 nothing to
No,
do with Peer Support
nothing,
Canada. No, no,
nothing to do with
nothing.
that.
No, no, absolutely not. We this was just where my training had happened, my
Where you
original
went.
training. Yeah, as
Okay.
I didn't get no training from them. That was the problem, and this is what I
Just
had addressed.
information.
It was just information, the knowledge of what I needed. I had a peer mentor from a different organization who had also been accredited with Peer Support Canada. So she recognized in me
Yeah.
that you've got it, Lucie. You've got what it takes. You are,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
peer supporter. And I said,
Yeah.
but I want to do it well and I want to do it right. And I don't want to end up like you know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I want to do
Yeah.
this the right way. So
Right.
she took me under her wings and we would have multiple, multiple discussions. And she basically is the one who trained me other than my on the job training, which is not
Right.
ethical. This
Right.
is
Right.
not ethical as a
Right.
peer supporter, but
Yes.
this is where I had the gift. And this is why when I was talking with Cynthia, we talked about it. And I shared, they need, there's many organizations doing peer support, many,
Yes.
but,
Yes.
and some are amazing. But I said, there's some pieces that they're not addressing. And this is what we
Yeah.
wanted to address, which was,
Yeah.
the trauma that happens from
Yes.
sexual violence, CSA, and human trafficking, sexual
Right.
exploitation all around.
Right.
Like this was the point. And even though the training was created for that, like you saw, it still fit you. Like even though it was
Yes.
created for that, you didn't feel
Yes.
like I don't fit in here. This is not
Yeah.
my.
No, no, no. It was wonderful. The training was really wonderful. It was the pace was fine. I would say it was long. Obviously, it was 10 weeks, but the structure to it was great. And I saw for the first time also how to present training with a live online classroom portion, then go do my reading and my assignments and the quizzes. I saw how that could work effectively because up until that point, our organization had primarily been in-person only trainings. And this
Mm,
goes back to what you said in the beginning, where Zoom opens you up to, you're able to reach people all over all of Canada. So in Montana, we're a large state and we've always struggled with this piece. And as a result of taking your program, we leased the platform that you use, the LMS, we
mhm,
leased it and we've built our own online courses because I saw it this is effective and I got a lot out of it. And I know that my staff who took it got a lot out of it. And I just this is the part I want to develop here in Montana is this awareness, this consciousness around the ethics of it, because we keep training people
Mm,
and we keep losing them along the way. Like you
mm,
said, they're
mhm,
relapsing, they're getting re-traumatized,
mhm.
and the employers have high turnover rates, and that's not sustainable. None of that is sustainable.
No, and part of the ethical peer support training is the organizational manual that was also created to help organizations understand how, you know, you want a peer supporter because you
Yeah,
got funding for it. So you want to
that's
click
right.
that box,
That's
right?
right.
It's like,
That's
yeah,
right.
I get my funding if I do
That's
this,
right.
right?
That's
It's
right.
the same in
Yep.
Canada.
Yep.
Uh, but they're not supporting them. They don't
Correct.
understand the role of a peer supporter.
Yes.
They don't even recognize, many people don't even recognize peer support as a profession, like as a
Right.
professional work. And
Right.
it's very hard work.
Yes.
And it deserves to be at fair equal pay as a professional.
Yeah.
But this organizational manual has really helped organizations understand, like it's like it goes from everything, like what do you need? You're thinking about having a peer supporter. What is your capacity? What do you
Right.
need? How are you going to support? Who's going to supervise? Who's going to, mentor
Right.
them? And all of this, it goes through the whole thing. And
Yeah.
now, as we've revamped the EPS training, we've made it shorter because we realize that many organizations are having challenges with, paying their staff
Yeah.
or anybody to have enough time to do it. So
Right.
we've revamped it and we're offering it in a shorter time frame. Exact amounts I can get back to you. But what the other thing that we're doing is we're also offering supervisor training. We're creating
Nice.
supervisor training because
Yes.
supervisors are they don't have the knowledge. If they don't have
Exactly.
peer support, they
Yeah.
don't have the knowledge of what it takes to be a peer
Yes.
supporter.
Yes. 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 Same thing. We've been lucky in our organization to always have a clinical supervisor who has a recovery experience,
Oh,
who
good.
supports peer services and
Hmm.
recovery. But that's not the case. Peer supporters who get on the job, they take the training, they get certified, they start getting supervision, and then they'll reach out and say, I'm not getting what I think I should be getting, and it's usually because they have a clinical supervisor who I think a lot of times is just they just sort of pick the new person and say, here, you're going to be in charge of doing doing the supervision training, not realize the organization doesn't realize the importance of that and the amount of support that a peer supporter needs, and it's ongoing.
Oh yeah, it doesn't stop just
Right.
because I mean, I've been a peer supporter for, I don't know, 12 years. And people go, "Oh my God, how could you be doing that for all those years?" And I'm
Right.
going, because I still do frontline. I want to reiterate that, even though I'm a director and I do many
Mhm.
different roles, I wear many hats.
Mhm.
I still do frontline, not as much as the rest of my team, but
Right.
I feel that it's important that somebody in my position do frontline to understand the work involved
Right.
and not forget, because
Yeah.
sometimes management forgets
Yes.
like the
Yeah.
the everyday challenges
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You still jump into the trench.
Yeah, I do. And I do. Yeah, I do. And you know what? When I do it, I feel energized. I really feel energized.
Mhm.
It doesn't bring me down. I don't, oh God, I'm done. No, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I feel energized because I see, and it reminds me the impact that we can have, the hope that we can offer somebody.
Yeah.
Uh and then it's not rainbows. I don't promise rainbows or anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
Like people go, what do you say that makes them so hopeful? And I said, as we are the mirror. We are the ones that are, showing up and saying, yeah,
Yeah.
I survived. I
Right.
survived CSA. I survived sexual violence.
Mhm.
I survived bad relationships. like a lot of the things that we, anybody in any form of recovery will have is the history of multiple
Yeah.
different bad relationships, struggles,
Yeah.
struggles
Yeah.
with jobs. It's so many struggles,
Yeah.
So when they see, oh yeah, I can get there. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's presenting well and being your authentic self. That's the other piece. Uh,
Yes.
as a peer supporter,
Right.
we have to be authentic. There's no
Yes.
there's no mask. They
Right.
cannot be. We
That's
have
right.
to be vulnerable and authentic.
Yes. I over the years, I've 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 always talked about that in training, but I notice in the last handful of years, I find myself reiterating that more and more and more and more throughout the training, that it's not about learning a set of techniques
Mhm.
or checking boxes. It's really about learning about yourself so you can truly be there and support the other person without letting your stuff get in the way of you
Mhm.
supporting them.
Yeah.
And I wish
Oh,
I had the courage from the very beginning, or the understanding from 10 years ago when we first started
mhm.
training people, to drive that point home. And now it's throughout the training, and it's really about helping people grow and be ready. I have a question for you about the people who come to be peer supporters, male to female, men to women. Do you notice more of one over the other?
Maybe a little bit more female.
Okay.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe. But because right now I am training, um, what is it? I have two. Yeah, there's more males. I mean, more females right now. Right now, there's more. So
Yeah.
I'm training. So part of our program, in order to help us with capacity, is we have many volunteers. I wish we had unending funding, then we could
Yeah.
pay everybody. But many don't even want to do this as a job. They want to do it as volunteers. With coming in as a volunteer is a
Mhm.
great way also to see, do I really want to do this?
Right. Right.
Like, because
Yep.
volunteers have less time, so they're meeting maybe one or two clients a week,
Yes.
whereas
Yes.
somebody that is a paid, even though if they're part-time, they're not going to do
Yeah.
30. First of all, nobody does 30 to 40 hours of peer support. That's not sustainable. It's not healthy.
You see,
It's
I
yeah, yeah.
I agree with you with this.
Yeah.
I totally
Mhm.
agree with you with this. I have found in my own organization that people who work less hours are better.
Yeah.
When I say better, meaning more effective, more healthy.
Mhm.
People want to go do peer support and they want to work 40 hours and have this big client load. And I'm like, I don't recommend that. You should do less, and then you can do something else with the other hours that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, or the way you organize
Yes.
your clients, or it's like if you know that you have ABC are extremely complex needs,
Yeah.
don't put ABC together in one
Right.
day.
Right. You'll burn
Like have
yourself out.
one a day,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
one a day, and then the
Yeah.
others with less
Yeah.
high needs. Then that way you
Yeah.
have better capacity.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's another piece that organizations don't understand with peer support. They want to hire two full-time peer supporters, right? And they burn them out, rather than saying, well, we could hire four peer supporters and they could all be part-time,
Hmm.
right? And then we can distribute the client load amongst people. Plus, then they form their own bonds together because there's four of them rather than just two of them, right? I think there's a ton of benefit to that. In the States, I think the payer sources sort of drive that also. They make it
Mm,
about money and
mm,
not about the care or the quality of the life for not just peer supporters, but I think clinicians too.
mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think,
And it's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to do it.
yeah,
And having a multiple team, I'll use us as an example. So we're five peer supporters right now, is that we're all different people. So
that's right.
and also a match for the person. So
Yes.
maybe that person would feel better with a person of color. Maybe they
Yes.
would feel
Yeah.
better with having somebody from the LGBTQ community.
Right. Right.
Maybe they would feel better having, or safer, not better, but safer or comfortable
Yeah.
with a francophone. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, all these
Yeah.
things, because we are bilingual in Canada, so it's
Yes.
French and English. So
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
that. Well, there's many languages. I don't want to limit it to that, because we
Yeah.
have had other challenges also with people from other countries that have come in, and we don't have that capacity. And you
Mhm.
cannot you cannot have a
Translate.
translator,
Yeah.
even though we have access to
Right.
translator is not trained in understanding,
No.
like they can't carry that load that they may
Yes.
be sharing. So
Yes.
there's that challenge,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great work. How does somebody find out more about Strength Found, the organization? Where should we send them?
Voicefound.ca. It's so
Okay.
all one word, voicefound.ca, and then you will see all our different services. So we offer many different services, but
Mhm.
in Canada, but the EPS is not limited to Canada. And I just want to say that even survivors of CSA, we are not able to support. It's out of our mandate because we have a mandate. We don't have, wish we could, but we do not have capacity or mandate. But I also want to thank in the States, because we get referenced. Sometimes Canadians will be
Mhm.
looking for support. And you
Mhm.
have 1 in 6 for men in the States that have referred
Okay.
men to us. So
Right.
Canadians that have reached out for
Wow.
support, they get sent back up to us, like
Right.
referred right back up to Voice Found. So,
Right.
and I'm always like, I have to write to them and thank them. And there's also RAIN, the RAINN in the States,
Okay.
and they also have sent us clients that were looking everywhere, couldn't
Yeah.
find it, and then boom,
Yeah.
we get referred
That's
to.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Lucy, it's been great, and I love talking with you. And I just think the work you're doing is amazing. You're changing people's lives, and you're shining a light in dark spaces.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, want to thank you, and I also want to thank our listeners who tune in to our podcast. I hope you also enjoyed hearing about the Strength Found program and hearing Lucy's background and all the good work she's doing, because she's really a wonderful person, great organization. Check them out online and tune in for other podcasts that we're doing from Montana's Peer Network. Thank you.
There's always hope.
Recovery is possible. Recovery works.
There is hope in recovery.
Healing takes time.
Recovery means resilience.
You can get through anything. Recovery works.
Recovery rocks!